Well, hello. This is Dr. Sinclair Bennett, and I'm going to be your lecturing faculty for the concept elimination. I just wanted to give you a little orientation to how the content is going to run. I'm aware that your 217 class has ended and that sometime this week is your 227 exam, so you will be starting to prepare for this class within the next couple days. I want to make sure everything was open for you and you understood the flow of the class and kind of what was expected before you came to class. I'm going to take those off because it's quite the glare. Okay, so here I have up your Blackboard website, and you're going to go to Elimination Content, Fall 20 Online Instruction. We are going to start with GU elimination. I'm not going to show you both GU and GI because they're laid out exactly the same. Here's the reading list. There's also a link within the announcements that has the latest edition reading list on it as well. You guys, sometimes we don't have the editions that you have. So if the reading list is off, I would ask that you first look at the chapters in the book and even use the index to identify the topic content that you want to read about, because sometimes I don't have that newest edition at my hands to be able to give you those page numbers. So please use your index first. So here is the reading list. It's broken out for each class. Here are the objectives for the content and the concept in general. So in 4 days, we are going to cover elimination, GI, and GU. So how I run the class, because the concept is new, you guys haven't learned about elimination yet, is the very first class is the introduction to the concept. So class 1 will be about 2.5, 3-hour lecture online. I will be talking to you like this, live from my office, giving you the content. Let me show you how to prepare for that day, because that's our first day. So there's PreClass preparation folder, and it's got a video about kidney function, a video about specific gravity, and then a little renal labs made easy, in addition to your reading list. And then there's a reading list here as well. Here are the presentations, and then here is that the PowerPoint for that presentation, okay? And then we're gonna have post-presentation activities. It is a lab analysis discussion. So when I'm in class, I put people in pairs and we talk about this scenario and we talk through it as a group. But that's really hard to do online, and often students that want to say something can't get to the mic quick enough, or they don't feel like they're prepared in this environment to really add to the discussion. So that's why this is a discussion board. This is a discussion board post, and it will be included in your quiz grade for this class. So please respond and look at the rubric that is here. One of the biggest things that people do not do is, one, cite the references. You cannot cite me. I am not published. I'm not published on this topic. I am published, but I am not this. This is not a publication. So you can only cite things that are published. So you can cite your book. You can cite NIH. You can cite a drug book if you want. But please do not cite me. And you should not be citing any of your instructors because they are not published. And if they are, you should be citing the source from which they are published. The other thing is the idea of a response. So you'll see half of this is a response. Half of the points is a response. So you need to respond to another student with 2 to 3 pieces of new information to get the full percentage. And if you only respond with 1 piece of new information, that's half. So the response is half of the grade for this. It's not just the initial posting, but it's the response to another student as well, because you're initiating a discussion, and a discussion cannot be one way. A discussion can be one-sided. So you must respond to another student in order to get the full credit for the discussion. Okay, and then we have a PeerWick discussion. So you guys will learn about what a PeerWick is in class, and then there's the discussion part that goes with it as well. And once again, that is complete sentences, APA, things are cited, that you use in-text citations as well as reference citations. And the reason we want you to do this is because we want to make you a better writer. We want you to be able to express yourself in written form as well as you would have in a discussion with scholarly sources added to it. And with the PureWick, it's easy to find scholarly sources because that's actually something that's pretty new. It helps us kind of meet that evidence-based practice requirement for this section. So this is our newest evidence-based intervention that we have. So that is after class 1. Please don't try and do it before class 1 because in class 1 you're going to learn a lot of information. You're going to think about labs a little bit differently. I'm going to talk about how these labs are applied to the elimination GU. So there's everything for class 1. I also have an area that's got some images for some visual learners, like the AMP of the kidney. People visually need to see how it works. Right. So elimination class GU class 1 is here, and that's going to be on the first Monday. And then that Wednesday, we are going to do the exemplars. So here's a link to my Prezi. I present that with a Prezi. It's easier too. With the exemplars, you have acute glomerulonephritis, nephrotic syndrome, and CGN. We have acute kidney injury. We also have renal obstructions. So within each of these folders, you are going to find, above the folders, you're going to find the objectives. You're going to find the readings. And then within the folders, you are going to find pre-class videos. So this is, I have always what they've called flip this classroom. So I provide you the lecture beforehand, and then the time that we spend in class is actively applying the material to case studies and answering questions. I firmly believe that you don't need me to stand up here and talk to you the whole time, that there are some things you can do outside, and then when you come to class, when you're applying it, that's when you really need somebody. That's when you need an expert to be guiding you in your clinical decision making. You think back all those times you're in a study group and you're like, oh, it would be nice if I could have asked them this, or I wonder about that. So this is where you're able to get those answers, those questions answered, and really apply the content and become very in-depth, have a better understanding and in-depth knowledge of the content. So all of these are on my YouTube channel. They're under Professor Bennett. Please access them through Blackboard and not through the YouTube channel, because some things are hidden on the YouTube channel and other things are not. So most of your content should be hidden on the YouTube channel. So always access them through here. The PowerPoint is obviously listed here. You can pull that up and take notes in it, or you can take notes paper-wise if you want to while you watch these videos. These videos are fairly short. They're no longer than 20 minutes, so you can do them in little segments to get ready for that day. The other thing you'll notice here is case studies. So there is, we're going to do the Molly Brown case study, about all 3 of these tied into one for Ms. Brown. And you, the exemplar day, you want to have that case study handy, because that's the case study we're going to do on the exemplar day. And then web links, there's additional web links in here that may help you with some information. There's glomerulonephritis and nephrotic syndrome. I think this is a nursing.com video, another way to explain it, and then some more resources. But the other thing I want to draw your attention to is this. So test your knowledge. On several of these exemplars, there are little test your knowledge quizzes. There are 5 to 7 questions in each quiz that you can take as many times as you want up until the day of your exam, which is November the 4th. So you may take them as many times as you want. I usually tell students to take them right after we've done the exemplar class, and then the night before the exam. So the 3rd of November, you should all be doing these again. It helps reinforce the material. I will say that these questions are not written at an application level. These questions are written at a pure knowledge level. What we found, Dr. Eck Elliott and I have taught this course together for many years. What we found are there are always some concepts that students have a hard time with. So we want to make sure that your baseline knowledge is steady and is correct so that you can achieve that application level. If you think of nursing as like a ladder, if the bottom rungs are the knowledge of the bottom rungs, if the bottom knowledge is not strong, then the top is not going to be steady. So we need to make sure that you have that knowledge so that you can answer the question correctly. So these items and all of these test your knowledge quizzes come directly from us analyzing tests and understanding that students are having a hard time with this concept or this concept or this concept, and that's how we come up with these questions. So they're not just kind of pulled out of thin air. There's thought behind why we're asking these questions. So make sure you go through them the night before at least to understand, know that you have that firm foundation of that knowledge so you can do well in the exam. So nephrotic syndrome, now not everyone has one. Nephrotic syndrome has one, acute kidney injury does not have one, but then here renal obstructions has one. So each exemplar day, when you have to listen to the lectures beforehand and we do the case studies, and then there's a test your knowledge. So that's GU, and then let me show you GI. GI elimination. Looks the same way, pre-class, information, presentation information, then post-class. And then here are the exemplars as well. IBD has a test your knowledge, and then pancreas and gallbladder, they're together in one folder, but they are each two separate exemplars. There are test your knowledges there as well. Please note with the GI elimination, the post-class activity, there is a post-class activity. Miss Lewis, another discussion board about Miss Lewis. And then there's an NG2 placement here and here as well. For your lab day, you will need to access these, and lab day is normally before we do GI, so that's why it's under the first class. But that lab day is before we actually do GI. So make sure that you've seen this and print it out and bring it with you to lab day, because we will go over NG-tube insertion, excuse me. One more thing I want to point out, and then I will let you guys get started on preparing for class, is where it says fall 2020 elimination complications. This is the prep for your simulation. So your simulation is going to be on November the 2nd. This is what the pre-work you need to do for the simulation. So you have bowel obstructions and peritonitis, and then there's some other little prep things here. The report, some directions. It's got like meds you need to know in it, and then the bedside report tool. So this is the actual prep that you need to do before the simulation, and then these are the things that the simulation is going to surround on: a bowel obstruction and peritonitis. So you need to have looked at those so that we can do those. When under the bowel obstruction, there's a case study in there, but you guys do not have to complete that. That is simply for your study at this time. And I don't think there's a case study in there under peritonitis, but if I find one, I can put one in there. All right, please email me if you have any questions or if you're having problems getting to loading the videos, if they're not popping up. I will share with you that when we have copied this course over, when we copied it over for the first section of the fall, there were some errors in it, and of no fault of ours, it just didn't copy correctly. So if things aren't opening up for you correctly, please let us know so we can upload those again. Also, announcements. You may see some strange announcements pop up. When in doubt, just shoot either Dr. Eck Elliott or I an email and ask if that announcement is correct. I noticed an announcement just a few minutes ago pop up about seeing you on the 19th, and something else that I didn't put up there. It was from an old class that just so happened to start on the same date that you guys started, but I didn't put that up there. So I deleted that very quickly. I'm not quite sure why those announcements keep popping up, but if you get something that's strange or doesn't quite make sense, like you may get a message about community in a day or two, but you're not doing community now, so Miss Bunting would not be trying to communicate with you now. Just ask us, and we'll let you know if that's correct or not. But I look forward to seeing everyone in class, and I will see you in a week. Bye-bye.